Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Protesters take to the steps of the state capitol, but as they demand reopening businesses, Governor Whitmer hints she may be close to easing one of the state's major restrictions.
New information tonight about that mystery illness targeting children. The CDC about to send out a nationwide alert to doctors.
So we've got a lot coming up, but we're going to have to begin with the weather. All eyes on 4 Live radar with the threat of severe storms heading into tonight.
Yeah, so far no warnings popping up, but we've heard plenty of rumbles of thunder off and on all day.
Had that spring feel, Ben.
Yeah, and the storm threat is starting to lessen, but the heavy rain threat is starting to ramp up. So kind of a good news, bad news scenario. Let's check out what's going on right now. At least the afternoon rain starting to move out. A lot of us are drying out, at least temporarily. Here's 4 Live radar. Still some lightning strikes within the hour down there in the south zone. Otherwise, we're going to wait probably until closer to midnight to see our next widespread round of rain. But it's going to be a doozy. Flood watches have been posted for almost the entire area tonight through about sunrise tomorrow, and we're expecting to see maybe up to 2 inches of rain in some spots. Again, most of the evening is going to be dry with just a widely scattered shower, but once we hit midnight and beyond, that's when the heavy stuff starts rolling in. We'll look closer at the timing of this, find out how much rain we're expecting in the 4-zone forecast, and we do have some good news to look forward to in the 7-day forecast. It's all headed your way in just a few minutes. Don't forget the Local Forecasters app will track the rain tonight and the good stuff to come after. It is free in your app store by searching WDIV. Kim and Devin?
Okay, Ben, thanks. All right, now to the coronavirus and today's numbers. In the past 24 hours, 73 Michiganders have died and 1,191 have tested positive. That is a significant increase from yesterday, which the state says is due to a backlog of results coming in from multiple labs.
State also says 35 of the deaths in today's count, which is also up, are from a review of past death certificates.
Amid a protest today at the Capitol, Governor Whitmer had some positive news.
She thinks the state is getting close to being ready to allow small personal gatherings. Here's what she said.
There is the very real chance that we can take the next step forward in the next phase, and that could include the potential of 10 or less gatherings. But the fact of the matter is, we can't say that definitively right now.
But the current restrictions didn't stop the protest at the state capitol today. Rod Maloney was there as they demanded Michigan open.
Today's protest was certainly much smaller than the previous two. The weather probably had a lot to do with that, but it was eventful in that there were a couple of skirmishes amongst the protesters, and Michigan State Police confiscated a long-handled axe, and yet there were no arrests. Michigan State more visible today as protesters huddled in the driving rain much of the morning. Organizer Adam DeAngeli says for all the controversy about long gun-toting protesters, and there were more today, he says the governor's characterizations ignore the real frustration.
People are here because they're seeing the state dramatically falling apart under the governor's orders, and they want their liberty back and they want our prosperity back.
Rosemarie Denton of Northville believes there's more than civil rights at play.
This has just gone on for way too long to keep extending this deadline and then tell us if the protesters come out, you children are going to be in your bedrooms for longer. I mean, she's treating us like we're small children. It's absurd. That's why these people are here.
Today, the governor didn't criticize this gathering.
I do think that, it sounds as though nothing got too terribly out of control, and that is, that's a good thing.
But many in the crowd did get close together, and few wore masks.
They're supposed to be wearing masks. Every one of us has to keep wearing our masks.
People are adults, and I think part of the reason why people might not be wearing masks is because they want to make a statement that they're not going to be subjected to this climate of fear.
Now, the governor says that she's willing to at least look at moving to phase 4 by the end of the month. Whether that's enough to placate protesters is another question for another day. In Lansing, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All right, Rod, the organizing group Michigan United for Liberty did file a lawsuit against the governor seeking to remove her stay-at-home order. We are anticipating a new warning from the CDC about a mysterious illness in children believed to be connected to COVID-19.
The government is expected to ask doctors to be on alert for children suffering from this syndrome and to treat it quickly. Dr. Frank McGeorge is here with the latest. Doc?
Yeah, Kim and Devin, doctors in at least 17 states, including Michigan, are reporting cases of pediatric multisystem inflammatory syndrome. Now, the CDC is expected to detail the potential symptoms to watch out for and urge doctors to report any cases they treat. A Beaumont doctor who has treated 3 local cases wants to make sure it's on everyone's radar.
We've had a cluster of 3 children that came really within 24 hours of each other, ranging in age from 7 years to 13 years.
Dr. Bashara Frej is the chief of pediatric infectious disease at Beaumont Children's.
They were very sick, all 3 of them. They were very sick, and they were progressing rapidly. That is the worst part of it.
All 3 kids were previously healthy, but doctors discovered 2 of them now had dilated coronary arteries. The third had massive inflammation of his intestines. 2 tested positive for COVID-19. The other had antibodies to the virus. The initial symptoms to watch out for include a fever lasting more than 2 days, abdominal pain, diarrhea, or vomiting. Some children also have red eyes and red cracked lips. Others have a rash. Dr. Frej wants to be very clear. Parents should not panic, but they should be proactive.
If this were a year ago, these would be viral, just watch. Let me know if something changes. The game has changed now, and people have to jump on it sooner. Parents and physicians. Early treatment makes a lot of difference. If you get them before there is too much damage, you can reverse it more easily. They can have less days in the ICU.
Now, all 3 of the Beaumont children are recovering. And tonight at 6, you're going to hear from one of their moms about how quickly this went from what looked like an ordinary stomach virus to something much more serious.
Doc, I know you say don't panic, but as a parent, this is very concerning. How common do doctors think it is?
Well, frankly, Kimberly, so far it appears to be rare, but it is something that we want parents to be on guard for because it is potentially very serious. You know, we're learning more about this virus every day, and this is one more piece of a very large, complicated puzzle. Yeah. Back to you.
I look forward to your story coming up on the news at 6. We appreciate it, Doc.
A top government scientist who would have been leading the U.S. race for a coronavirus vaccine testified before a House committee today. He says he was removed from his job for political reasons. Alice Barr is in Washington as he also laid out a grim prognosis for the months to come. Alice.
Devin, the whistleblower who testified before Congress today called for a comprehensive national strategy to carry us through the coronavirus crisis, and he said time is running out.
They'll load it, they'll mix all the...
President Trump visiting Pennsylvania today, touring a medical supply plant and pushing the state's Democratic governor to reopen faster.
We have a lot of people who want their freedom, and they'll get their freedom very soon.
While on Capitol Hill, an ousted whistleblower, Dr. Rick Bright, told a House committee the Trump administration ignored his dire early warnings in a slow response to the coronavirus crisis.
Without better planning, 2020 could be the darkest winter in modern history. But time is running out because the virus is still spreading everywhere.
Dr. Bright says he was transferred out of his role overseeing federal vaccine development after repeatedly warning of critical shortages of medical supplies.
Those alarms were not responded to with action.
And resisting efforts to promote the drug hydroxychloroquine that President Trump has often touted.
The evidence for its benefit was weak, and the evidence for its safety concerns was stronger.
Republicans on the committee defending President Trump.
But this hearing is not about a whistleblower complaint. It's about undermining the administration during a national and global crisis.
The president dismissing Dr. Bright's testimony.
To me, he's nothing more than a really disgruntled, unhappy person.
As President Trump shifts his focus to resuscitating the economy, he was met today in Pennsylvania by demonstrators staging a mock funeral, saying it's too soon to reopen, while pockets of protest around the country demand an end to shutdowns. Amid new reports, nearly 3 million Americans filed first-time unemployment claims last week, bringing the total to more than 36 million claims since the crisis began in March. New unemployment claims have eased somewhat over the past 6 weeks, but have not dropped off as quickly as analysts were projecting. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
Okay, Alice, on Wall Street today, stocks finished higher despite the new unemployment numbers. The Dow snapping a 3-day losing streak, closing up 377 points at the end of trading today.
Well, soon the CDC is expected to release detailed guidance on how and when states should come back online. In Wisconsin, bars and restaurants are back open after the state's Supreme Court overturned the governor's stay-at-home order. Beaches reopened in Southern California, but beachgoers must maintain social distance. New coronavirus cases are going down in nearly half the states, but are going up in 9 others. Governor Whitmer and the plaintiffs in the right to read literacy case have reached a settlement.
Yeah, the lawsuit claimed the students were deprived access to literacy because of a lack of books, a lack of teachers, and from poor building conditions. The settlement calls for nearly $95 million in funding for Detroit Public Schools Community District. The state also agreed to a $280,000 payout among the 7 Detroit student plaintiffs to access a high-quality literacy program. Also, 2 Detroit literacy task forces will be created. The idea to try to help create and ensure quality education for students.
Much more ahead here at 5. Here's Paula.
How workspaces are going to change for employees and their responsibility to make sure their businesses can actually stay open in this time of COVID. Our exclusive roundtable is coming up.
They're everywhere online right now. It appears to be a great deal to help you consolidate your debt. But I have an important warning for you because that deal could be a financial disaster. Important information coming up in my Help Me Hank report.
Detroit was hit harder and faster than any city in the country.
In the middle of this crisis, he's been the mayor for the moment.
Really, from day one, I decided we were going to be one of the most aggressive cities in America.
Mayor Duggan shares how his experience as a hospital CEO has helped guide his decisions and why he says it's Detroiters who are helping defeat this formidable foe with the eyes of the nation watching.